They are also having a raffle for a football helmet lamp and also a raffle for a game ball for last week's game ball. That game ball is autographed by Derek Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Quarterback Club is also holding a dance tomorrow night, Saturday night, November the 3rd, at the Elms Hotel from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. You may also buy tickets from Quarterback Club members at the scoreboard, $15 in advance for a couple of $20 at the door. This being the last game of the season, we also would like to call your attention to the hill on the south end of the stadium. The Quarterback Club of Excelsior Springs has worked a tiger emblem on the end of the hill, and we have a special thanks to Olin Lumber Company, Green Quality, Freight Creed Incorporated, and the Quarterback Club members. Tonight's officials, referee Wayne Carter, umpire Ron Rimley, linesman Jerry Gallagher, and line judge Craig Porter. tonight the 8th grade band from Roosevelt School. The bands are under the direction of Brian Poston. Please stand as a combined band honor America by playing our national anthem, and the Excelsior Springs High School by playing the alma mater. Introducing the starting defense for the Ruskin Eagles. At defensive end, number 25 is junior Robert Coleman. At defensive end, number 84, senior Robert McKean. At defensive tackle, number 58, a junior offensive team for the Excelsior Springs Tigers. At center is junior number 67, Jason Clark. At guard is senior number 60, Eric Potter. At guard is junior number 65, Bill Porter. At tackle is junior number 63, Andy Smith. At tackle is senior number 75, Jason Long. At flanker is senior number 40, Mike Snyder. At right receiver, a senior number 45, Aaron Livingston. At split end, a senior, number 11, Blake Moberly. At fullback, a junior, number 28, Roger Oldfield. At running back, number 23, a senior, Pat Nichols. At running back, a senior, number 44, Kylie Kopp. And at quarterback, a senior, number 13, Sterling Edwards. The Tigers are coached by head coach Vic Benucci. The Excelsior Springs Quarterback Club appreciates your support. Back receiving the kickoff for the Eagles, 24, Jamie Oliver. 29, Maurice Ragland. And number 31, Andy Ashley. Number 9, Ryan Creason to kick for the Tigers. Number 47, first Cole. Timeout, Ruskin. Number 9, Ryan Creason on the return. Back by 25, Robert Coleman. First down, Tigers at their 37-yard line. Number 13, Edwards, the quarterback. Number 29, Maurice Ragland on the carry. Tackled on the play by 65, William Porter. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 1990 Black and Gold Marching Band under the field direction of drum major Christy Neal and Marty Martha. For the final performance of the year, the band will perform Thundercraft, A Land of a Thousand Dances, and I Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you a group of fine young men and women who have dedicated themselves to the Black and Gold Band for the last 4 years, and this, of course, is our band seniors. Flutist, Robin St. John. Flutist, Van Weesey. Clarinetist, Becky Wistrom. Saxophonist and drum major, Marty Marker. Trombone, baritone, and euphonium player, John Stowe. Trombonist, Joe Weesey. Trombonist and percussionist, Rick Esam. Playing the tuba, Bobby Albers. Also playing the tuba, Rich Crowley. Trumpeter, David Harness. Trumpeter, Jeff Edmonds. Clarinetist, Charles Bryan. Saxophonist, Darren Wilson. And color guard member, Jessica Wall. Got a big round of applause for these fine young men and women.
Won by the senior boys. Best played, sophomore boys. Progressive grade, freshmen. Class yell, seniors. Marshmallow spinning contest, seniors. Scavenger hunt, seniors. And the class song, freshmen. High School have voted for the Gridiron Giants. This year, a new school record was set in the voting for Gridiron Giants. The winners for this year
Ladies and gentlemen, head basketball coach Bob Curtis has drawn the winning raffle ticket for the helmet lamp. The helmet lamp ticket is an orange ticket, and the number is 611782. 611782. If you have that lucky ticket, report to the press box and pick up your helmet. Number 13, Sterling Edwards carried, stopped by number 67, Robert Wiggins. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Excelsior Springs Quarterback Club appreciate your support in all of its activities. The money raised from their activities goes to support all high school sports and activities. The Quarterback Club salutes you and thanks you. Number 28, Roger Oldfield carried for the Tigers. There's a flag on the play. Oldfield stopped by 67, Wiggins. Penalty against the Eagles, face mask.
Set, go! Good luck. Don't you be laughing. That's good.
Tiger football. The game tonight is with the Sedalia Smith Cotton High School Tigers. If I may have your attention, would you please direct your attention to standing right here in the press box.
In case you haven't known it, Howard has been operating the score clock for our football team, boys basketball team, and girls basketball team for about 50 years now. I'm going to read this inscription on the placard before I present it to you because I think it pretty well sums up everybody's feelings. On behalf of all students, teachers, would you please rise and show respect for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the Excelsior Springs alma mater.
Excelsior Springs 34, Sedalia 15. Rushing, Excelsior Springs 29 yards. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tiger Football. The game tonight is between Kearney High School Bulldogs. Would you please now rise and show respect for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the Excelsior Springs alma mater. 20, Shane Miller. Number 56, David Field. Justin Parker on the carry. Southside 69, Jason Mullen for the Tigers. Third down. Crosske's pass intended for number 85, vehicles that are parked. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tiger Football. The game tonight is with the Liberty High Club will be sponsoring a dance at the Elms on October the 12th, and the tickets are $15 per couple. You may purchase those tickets tonight at the Quarterback Club table underneath the scoreboard at the north end of the field. Please rise and show respect for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the Excelsior Springs alma mater. for the helmet lamp has been drawn by radio personality Mike Haight of KEXS, and the number is 953-380. 953-380. If that is your ticket, please see David Shelton in the press box and collect your helmet. Ladies and gentlemen, the helmet lamp was won by Lewis Middle School student Sarah Shepard of Excelsior Springs. Sarah Shepard has won the drawing, the raffle for the Excelsior Springs Quarterback Club helmet lamp.
St. Joseph's Pray.
Randy Royal up there waving on the back of the boat tar float.
The Black and Gold Band from Excelsior Springs High School is a very attractive and active organization. The band performs at home football and basketball games throughout the year, in addition to their hectic concert schedule. The students are also active in community service projects, such as the Adopt a Highway program and Project Warm, which is sponsored, as you know, by KCTV. And
Well, I try to make it short and sweet. I know kids get sick listening to me talk. Tonight is the night where we recognize our band students, recognize the accomplishments of our band students. But the first thing I want to do is to make sure that we recognize all our band students, because we've had a lot of students work hard this year and help our band progress and make accomplishments, and not all of those students will walk away with awards tonight. So, when your name is called, you can stand up and hold your applause. I'd like to recognize all of the band students who have participated this year in the 1991-1992 Black and Gold Band. Our seniors this year have been Aaron Bartlett, Brandon Baxley, Allison Harmon, Michelle Lovings, Mara Lowen, Christy Morris, Lynn Nunley, Tyson Fout, Crystal Pittman, Lisa Strickler, and Amy Wood. Those are our seniors, folks. Our juniors are David Albers, Jenny Baldwin, Shelley Bishop, Elena Camasano, Pat Farrelly, Bridget Heil, Brandon King, Chris Lafferty, Tiffany Larson, Shay McAdams, Jennifer Means, Jennifer Mosley, and Rachel Williams. Our sophomores are Melissa Bertram, Sarah Chartier, Kelly Clevenger, Tina Dallas, Corey Davidson, Justin Fletcher, Jennifer Heath, Jennifer Lana, Chris McMullen, Juanita Ray, Susan Singer, Jason Snow, Joyce Whiteman, and Lisa Williams. And our freshmen are Beck Baker, Kim Belmore, Angela Botts, Angela Collier, Drew Crowley, Stephen Crowley, Heather Dennis, Melissa Dorsey, Stephen Emery, Todd Harness, Jesse Hoffman, Damon James, Stephen Kistner, Bethany Lamar, Melissa Morris, Cheryl Neal, Windsor Reed, Mike Rice, and Chris Stark. I'd like to introduce to you this year's Band Council, and then I will introduce to you next year's Band Council. These young people have done a lot for our band this year. Most notably, we have gotten involved in 3 different public service events, community service events, which have been set up and continually run by our Band Council. I think most of you know that we picked up a stretch of highway on 10 Highway from, I can't tell where it is, from Wise Center, up to the bar, top of the hill. We picked that up. And then this year was the second year that we participated in the Project Warmth, which is sponsored by the Kansas City Star. And then about a month and a half ago, we went out and did a car wash and raised some money for the band and raised some money for the Ronald McDonald House. These are all things that have been sponsored by our Band Council, as well as a lot of social activities and various activities specific to the band. We had a new activity this year that I think the kids really got a kick out of, which was our lock-in. We decided to imitate the senior girls and provide a lock-in for the band. And it just absolutely amazed me because I watched Tyson Fout start at 10 o'clock in the evening with basketball and didn't stop until 6 o'clock in the morning. Never thought a person could have that much energy. Anyway, we've had a very good Band Council this year, and I'm looking forward to a group of leaders working very hard for us next year. Our Band Council this year, our president is Lisa Williams. Our vice president is Kelly Bishop. Our secretary treasurer is Susan Sanger. And Heil and Kristen Morris. Equipment managers were Stephen Crowley and Stephen Kistner. And student council representative was Tyson Fowler. Our band council for next year, our president will be Shelley Bishop. Treasurer will be Jennifer Mosley. Our librarian will be Bridget Heil and Chris Stark. Our equipment manager will be Stephen Crowley, Stephen Kistner, and Todd Harness. Our student council representative will be Sarah Chartier. Our historian will be Brandy King. Our drum major will be Bridget Heil. Susan Center. And we will have a color guard representative to be elected by the color guard sometime later this summer. At this time, I would like to recognize those color guard members who lettered this year. We had a small ceremony for them in the fall so that they didn't have to wait all the way until May to receive their awards, but I would like to recognize those people because they're a very important part of our band. Our color guard lettermen in the flag were Rachel Williams, Amy Wood, Jennifer Lanner, Juanita Ray, Kelly Clevenger, and Lynn Nunley. Our rifle lettermen were Michelle Lovings, Aaron Bartlett, Kim Belmore, and Jesse Hoffman. Receiving provisional color guard letter awards were Corey Davidson and Melissa Dorsey. Our color guard rookie of the year was Jesse Hoffman, and our outstanding color guard member was Amy Wood. I'd like to move on and talk about the jazz band a little bit. We ran our jazz band approximately half the season this year and had a couple of good performances and had I think a rewarding trip to Central Missouri State University where we received a 2, which is a very good rating. And we last year established a jazz band letter and some jazz band awards. And I'm very pleased to announce that this year we have 2 provisional jazz band lettermen. They are Stephen Emery and Chris Clark. Our jazz band lettermen this year are Melissa Bertram, Tyson Fowler, Michelle Cousins, Jennifer Heath, Stephen Kistner, Steve Crowley, David Albers, Joyce Whiteman, Justin Fletcher, Mike Rice, Todd Harness, Bridget Heil, David James, established an award for an outstanding jazz band member. And this award is named in honor of Louis Armstrong, who is as you all know, a very famous jazz trumpet player and one of the very motivating forces in the American jazz scene. It's my great pleasure to announce that Sarah Chartier is our outstanding jazz band member for 1992. Read this, I'll be testing on it tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to move right along. I'm very pleased. I was amazed this afternoon as I burned up my computer printing awards. Tonight we will award almost 70 awards to this small group of young men and women. Our letters, I need to tell you a little bit about our letter system. Our letter system for the band is based on participation. And every year we participate in a variety of different things. Some years, and I tell the students this is not like a football team. The football team plays 10 games every year, and that's 40 quarters that they play. And if a student plays so many quarters, then they earn 11. Every year we do different things. We have some students achieve more each year, some students don't achieve quite as much. So it would be unfair for us to say that it would take 100, 150 points to letter, because there would be years when we would have virtually the entire band would letter, and there would be other years in which hardly anyone would letter. And I tell the story every year to my kids that for the years that I taught in the Mountain Grove Public School system, we had a lettering system in place that the students were not willing to change, and the administration was not willing to change. And in all the years that I taught at Mountain Grove, I was only able to letter 3 students because the system was so difficult. What we do is we assign points in different categories to what the students participate in. And it goes from things like attending all the rehearsals, having no excused absences in class, there's an absence recommendation by me, and also by doing things that I call the dirty jobs of the band. In order for us to have a successful organization, we have to do things like collate and sort uniforms, we have to pass out uniforms, we have to paint stripes on our marching field. We have to set up the risers, tear down the risers for concerts, and the list goes on and on. And when the kids participate in this, they do some of the dirty jobs, and they also do things specifically to improve their musicianship, such as play in contests or performances outside of school, or in such things as community bands, where they take lessons or they give lessons, anything that would improve their musicianship that they bring back into our organization, that our organization would benefit from, and we assign points to that. This year, our band scored a total of 4,215 points. Required 154 points to letter, and 138 points to receive a provisional letter. A provisional letter is a certificate of achievement. Does not permit the student to wear the band letter until they earn the actual letter. And then if the student has 1 year of provisional letter and 1 year of letter, they're allowed to wear 2 bars on their letter. So, before I go on, I'd like to recognize, as I say, 4,200 points. I'd like to recognize the person who scored the most points this year. That person is Bridget Heil with 257 points. I'd like to recognize one person who has lettered this year's senior class, who has lettered all 4 years of her high school career. And that I don't know whether I can count it as one person, because she started out as Kristen Neal and now it's this Morris person. Does that count? But our 4-year lettering was Kristen Morris. This year's provisional band letterman are Becky Baker, Damon James, Chris Tharp, Windsor Reed. David Albers. And Jennifer Means. This year are Tyson Bell, Christy Morris, Jennifer Mosley, Shelley Bishop, Bridget High, Jenny Baldwin, Brandy King, Lisa Williams, Sarah Chartier, Susan Singer, Joyce White, something that has pleased me immensely this year is the number of freshmen lettermen that we have. I think it's probably the largest group that I've had, at least in recent memory, here at Excelsior Springs. And the fact that we have such a talented and hardworking and dedicated group of freshmen means that we've got a bright future ahead of us in the Black and Gold Band. Our freshman lettermen are Angela Botts, Todd Harness, Heather Dennis, Stephen Kistner, Bethany Lamar, and Stephen Crowley. And I just neglected, lettermen, those of you that lettered and have not received a letter award, I just neglected to give it to you. When we're trying to come see me, I had your letter award. Something I started a number of years ago that I feel very strongly is recognizing our seniors, especially those seniors that have dedicated their high school careers to us. This year we have 4 seniors that have done an excellent job for us. I would like to recognize them with the Senior Recognition Award of Brandon Baxley, Allison Bell, Crystal Pittman, and Christy Morris. During the course of the year, I always try to pick a group of students, or pick on a group of students, pick on all the students, that I shine a little bit more than the rest of the kids. During marching season, I try to pick a squad was kind of obscure. No one really paid a whole lot of attention to them. But they very, very quietly did their job. And as I said, I think they stood a little taller and had a little more pride. And I'm very pleased because the bulk of the squad is freshmen. It's marching squad number 2, which is Angela Collier, David Green, Heather Dennis, and the leader, Jennifer Mosley. Every year, I also do the same thing for the concert section. I choose an outstanding concert section. This year I decided not to. I was sitting there looking at my list and looking at my list and looking at my list and looking at my list. And this year I decided that if we would set up a outstanding, I was going to get a most improved concert section. At the beginning of the year, this group of people had a hard time figuring out whether the mouthpiece was the mouth or the ear. I think they probably suffered as much yelling and haranguing as anybody in the band did. And I very, very much believe in the fact that they are the most improved section in the band. And they've come along from a group of students that were struggling to play their instruments, let alone play as a cohesive unit, to, I think, a group that does a fine job now, and they are playing now as a cohesive unit rather than a group of students struggling. And I'm talking about it, how many of you figured it out yet? This is our trumpet section. Stephen Crowley, David Albers, and Joyce White. And on top of that, every year, not every year, I did the award this last year, but I think it was very appropriate this year, that I give a most improved student award. And this person started out playing in a section that could figure out whether the mouthpiece went in the mouth or the mouthpiece went in the ear. And this student has worked very, very hard at improving her playing skills and her leadership skills. And I think she's done a very fine job this year. And our most improved student award goes to Joyce Whiteman. We have a little tradition in our band called rookies. It's a system with which I introduce all our new band members to our band family, and we establish them in our family, establish them in our organization, and help build their pride by saying you can't just walk into our group and take ownership. You have to earn that ownership. And then the older students that have gone through this, I think, take a lot of pride in helping and in some instances forcing the rookies to take ownership in this group. And because of this, I think our students have a tremendous amount of pride in our group. Normally I give one Rookie of the Year award, but this year I decided to split the Rookie of the Year award. I have a young man and a young woman that have both worked very hard this year, both of them learning separate instruments, getting involved in separate groups. In one instance, as a freshman, going all the way to state and earning a 1 at state. Our Rookies of the Year this year are Todd Harness and Heather Dennis. Last and certainly not least is our Outstanding Band Student Award. And this is the person that I believe personifies what we stand for. Our dedication, our loyalty, our hard work, our musicianship. The award is named after John Philip Sousa. And the Sousa Award and the Louis Armstrong Award are both national awards offered by the Instrumentalist Company of Evansville, Indiana, and have been in place for over 50 years. And I'll read to you some excerpts from the Sousa Award. As every band musician knows, John Philip Sousa is the March King. His marches are played more than any others and are always received with great enthusiasm. Sometime around 1889, Sousa gained the title of the March King. A remark in the British Band Journal reached the eye of Sousa's publisher. The author of the remark says that because Johann Strauss was called the Waltz King, the American bandmaster Sousa should be called the March King. Making use of this in his advertising, Sousa's publisher was responsible for the title's widespread acceptance. John Philip Sousa is largely responsible for the American band movement we have in our schools today. If it wasn't for his influence and the work that he did with the United States Marine Corps Band, we would not have the programs we have nationally in our schools today. The John Philip Sousa Band Award, since its inauguration in 1954, thousands of U.S. high schools have presented the John Philip Sousa Band Award to the most outstanding band student. The award recognizes those young musicians displaying superior musicianship, leadership, attendability, loyalty, cooperation, and other qualities of conduct which school instrumental music programs strive to impart. The Sousa Award is the top nationwide prize in the school band field, both in prestige and appearance. It promotes the entire band by encouraging musicians to greater achievement and enthusiasm while providing an inspiring stimulus to potential instrumentalists. This year's John Philip Sousa Band Award is presented to Bridget Hyle. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you this evening. I hope you have enjoyed your program. I hope you have enjoyed the meal. I'm done there now. Which is right side up. So, this is where we see this. Yeah. The Peter Budd was Mr. P. as president. Just 92 seniors, Kristen, Crystal, Brandon, and Tyson. By the way, the mug is full of chocolate. Can we move on now? This was my date at the state contest. Her name is Barbie. But my name is not Ken. This is for Kristen from Britain. Well, thank you very much for coming tonight. I hope you will all come over to Roosevelt for the auditorium and approximately 20 minutes before the Park President present their spring concert. Thank you very much.